Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am INTAN LIANI binti Muhammad AZIZ and I am the first presenter for this group. The topic that we choose for our group is Customary Land Development in Negeri Sembilan. Let me go through some introduction regarding our topic. So basically, our topic is related to one and only hereditary customs in Negeri Sembilan, which is Adat Perpati. As we know, Adat Perpati is one of the customs held by the Minangkabau tribe and is known as a customs that is very closely related to women. It can be seen that women from any tribe of the Minangkabau will hold a piece of land as a customary land. As time goes by, there are some issues that arise as a result of this Adat Perpati, where the land given the right to women is not used properly and even it becomes idle land and abandoned. This causes a lot of idle land around Negeri Sembilan, especially in the villages. So here, we will discuss regarding the development of customary land in Negeri Sembilan.
Jadi adat perpati ni sebenarnya adat yang terkenal dekat Negeri Sembilan. Antara daerah yang kalau kita boleh tengok jelas kesan daripada adat perpati ialah daerah Kuala Pilah. Daerah Kuala Pilah ni sebenarnya daerah yang sangat cantik, kawasan Gunung Ganang. Jadi adat perpati ni asal dia daripada daerah Minang dekat Indonesia tu. Jadi bila orang Minangkabau ni dia berhijrah ke wilayah Negeri Sembilan pada abad ke-12, dia bawa lah sekali adat dia, dia amalkan sekali. Sebenarnya adat perpati ni dia mengamalkan kahwin tak boleh sama suku, which is korang kena kahwin dengan orang yang suku lain daripada korang. Ada 12 suku utama yang ada dekat Negeri Sembilan. Adat perpati ni sebenarnya dia mengamalkan pewarisan harta, rumah, tanah tu mesti diwariskan kepada anak perempuan ataupun kaum perempuan. Jadi kalau kita tengok dekat daerah Kuala Pilah tu, korang akan banyak jumpa rumah yang kosong, terbiar, tanah kosong. Sebab apa? Sebab kebanyakan anak perempuan diorang bila dah besar, kahwin, mestilah ikut suami.
Let's move to the first issue. The first issue is the location of the land that lack of infrastructure. Although Seremban status as the state capital of Negeri Sembilan has resulted in the district of Seremban attracting more commercial and trade activities than other districts in the state, but there are some part of the land in Negeri Sembilan that lagging behind, mainly in terms of infrastructure and economic activities. As a result of British designated only kampung land or rest land as Malay reservation. For example, there are University UiTM Kuala Pilah that located in a remote area, and also communication systems such as telephone lines and internet are somewhat affected, while there is no variety of public transport facilities provided other than buses. And this situation same goes to matriculation Negeri Sembilan. Tanah adat are seen to be left behind and no development has been done. The effect can still be seen especially in Batu Kikir, Kuala Pilah and surrounding areas where their infrastructure is still lagging and somewhat lagging behind.
Assalamualaikum, my name is NOOR. I'm FAZRIN binti HASIM. Okay, so I will explain about the second issue, which is the ownership of Adat Perpati land. Okay, it is also one of the matter that becomes of the issues and affect the customary land developments that indirectly will affect the urban development in the area. So the ownership of Adat Perpati land is concerned when involving the ownership of the customary land with a large number of the heirs toward the small area of lands. This happens due to the additions in the growing generation that have registered their names for the customary land. Meanwhile, the acreage for the customary land area is small. So this will cause the problems when the small customary land area is unable to meet the needs of a large number of the owners. Then it will complicate the processes of developments of the lands. So the failure to obtain the consents of the landowners, it will cause the customary land to be idle, which means that the land will be abandoned without any activity. Okay, when there is an issues among the landowners of the custom land, it indirectly will affect the urban development in the area due to the presence of derelict areas. So developments in that land cannot be proceeded when there is no agreement between the landowners. Besides that, the status of ownership of adat berpatih land for those whose name is written in the land grant does not imply their absolute ownership of the lands, whereas the owner just only act as a trustee of that custom land, and they also are not allowed to make their own decisions on that customary lands. Okay, the fact that all the heirs of the custom land and the datuk lembaga adat must be referred in making any decisions related to adat berpatih lands. This compliance require a time consuming, so when it involves the long time consuming, so it will delay the process of approval, then the development process on the customary land will be obstructed. So it will affect the opportunity for that custom land area to be developed. Thus, this ownership issue of adat berpatih land shows that it will indirectly affect the developments of the custom land and also the developments in that area.
Tanah adat ini tidak boleh dijual disebabkan namanya juga tanah adat pusaka. Memang tak boleh dijual. So, apabila kalau nak dijual tanah adat ini, perlulah dijual sesama suku dan disaksikan oleh datuk adat dan dijual dengan harga yang lebih rendah. Sebab dekat Negeri Sembilan ni sangat adil. Walaupun lelaki tidak diberikan tanah adat pusaka tu, tetapi lelaki diberi penghormatan menyandang gelaran pusaka, iaitu penghormatan menyandang gelaran datuk adat, datuk penghulu, datuk lembaga. Antara sebab-sebabnya kenapa tanah tersebut diberikan kepada anak perempuan pada zaman dahulu, kita semua tahulah lelaki disarankan untuk keluar daripada kawasan mencari kekayaan, memburu dan berperang. So bila si suami dan anak lelaki tiada di kawasan tanah tersebut, so yang ada hanyalah isteri dan anak-anak yang menjaga tanah. So bila lelaki dah tak ada, yelah kita tak tahu kan ajal kita mungkin pergi tak kembali si lelaki. So bila tanah tu tak ada nama, kita takut nanti tiba-tiba orang luar datang mengaku itu tanah dia. Jadi nenek moyang kita ni bijak, dia dah fikir plan dia, dah fikir secara strategi terhadap tanah tersebut.
Assalamualaikum, I am SABRINA binti JAMAL. The next issue is regarding Customary Land Law. Customary Tenure Enactment Chapter 215 was created as a result of combined provision of Customary Tenure Enactment 1926, 1930, 1932 and 1934. As we know, the position of customary land has been recognized in the Federal Constitution through Article 19, which outlines specific provision regarding the recognition given to the land legislation customary that override other legal provision, especially land-related matters. Customary law is also categorized in Article 19, which also states that the specific provision that any practice can be used as long as it doesn't conflict with the provision of the Constitution. Customary land in Negeri Sembilan is governed based on the provision of the Customary Tenure Enactment Chapter 215. Customary Tenure Enactment Chapter 215 is the basis of administration for customary lands in the several districts in Negeri Sembilan. Therefore, it is clear that the customary land that is subject to adat berpatih legislation in Negeri Sembilan is protected by the existence of several provisions in the Federal Constitution and also the State Constitution. This provision also reflects that the existing customary land must be well managed and systematic so that the rationale for the existence of the customary land can be maintained and its benefits can be enjoyed by the multiple generations. Although there is a specific treatment of the traditional custom where the land is owned by the indigenous tribes and not the individual, there were issues in the process of legislation of customary land. This issue arises because there is a customary land tenure enactment that allow the legislation of the land to individual entitled to inherit customary land. Meanwhile, for the point of view of adat berpatih, although customary land is inherited by the female heirs, the land is considered to belong to the tribes. As a result of, customary land was later subdivided into individual properties and no longer belong to the tribes.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is IZNI BAZILAH. I will explain about the rules from the government to handle the issue. one of the roles that the government do is through agriculture. In 1970, Malaysia recorded that almost half of the population live in the poverty, which the rural area are being the most affected. Thus, the government decided to focus on the rural development. As the rural economy focus more on the agriculture sector, the government are choosing to develop the agriculture industry. It can be seen when the government are able to handle the issue in Negeri Sembilan. Negeri Sembilan is one of the states that are facing with the issue which has 14,000 hectares of idle customary land. This issue arises due to the heirs' failure to manage customary land handed to them because the land is located in the rural areas such as Rembau, Seremban, Jelebu, Jempol, Kuala Pilah and Tampin. As the result, the government decided to take an effort to cultivate the land as the agriculture land. The government formed a joint venture and provide Rm 1.7 million in it. From the initiative given by the government, it was able to cultivate 236 hectares of idle land throughout the Negeri Sembilan and transforming the state into the key producer of agriculture products such as vegetable and fruits in the Klang Valley. The initiative taken by the government able to develop a customary land in Negeri Sembilan.
Now, I will continue with the next role of government in handling the regarding issue. Negeri Sembilan government can play a more active role in efforts to develop abundant customary land. This can be done through the wakaf system or endowment system. The customary land has a potential for developing where it can be an income and act as an economic sector for the community Malaysia when it can be used as well as possible. For example, the situation can be seen in Hotel Wakaf Elson, Port Dickson, where the land is cultivated in collaboration between the Negeri Sembilan Islamic Religious Council and several other government agencies. Other than that, the landowner that wish to wakaf their land for the property that can be used and beneficial for community, and most of the development is by building the mosques, schools, suraws, and so on that related for community welfare. These also help the development of customary land. That's all from me. Thank you.
As a suggestion of this issue, we can upgrade the communication and transportation system. This is because in the rural area, the villages, which are mostly customary land, have their own transport and communication system, but it seems to be a bit backward, and the changes that have taken place seem to be a bit slow. When there is an improvement in the communication and transportation system in the area, it's not only facilitate the urbanization process, but also the economic sector can be developed indirectly, such as expanding the KTM route to the Kuala Pilah area, Highway Plus, Elite and so on. In addition, the network of the communication system should be enhanced the community to communicate easily and indirectly so they do not miss anything.
Okay, next recommendation is the applications of the muafakat system in decision making. Okay, muafakat means the mutual agreement between the members which has brought the same decisions. Okay, based on the issue of ownership in Adat Pepatih land as explained before this. Okay, shows that the discussion together through the muafakat system is essential to be done to settle the issue arise. In this muafakat system, it will require all the members to sit together to solve the problem that arise, and will come out with a joint decision through all the suggestions and opinions was out. So the decisions obtained will not based on the bias, instead it will provide a fair decision to all of the owners of Adat Pepatih land. And in this mufakat system also involve the adat pepatih leader in making the decisions, which is wapak, lembaga and undang. So all the decisions made in this system were taken by referring to the leader, as they are responsible to become guidance in solving the matter of adat pepatih. Thus, this system is essential to be applied in every issue related to adat pepatih, as it involves a joint decisions in reach all the desired decisions.
Therefore, there is a suggestion related to this issue, which is the stipulation of procedure related to the legislation of customary landowners. This is because the implementation of customary land law by the state government, namely by Customary Holding Enactment Chapter 215, has complicated the process of legislation of customary land in Negeri Sembilan. There are a number of things that have been outlined about the position of customary land, where the concept of trustee explained that the land ownership by the tribes and not by the individual rights. Since customary land is a tribal rights made up of many people, it has made the process of legislation and transfer of customary land more complicated. It's happened because the process is not the same as the normal land process, which is involve many parties. Therefore, to prevent this problem from happening, a special body should be created to adjudicate this problem. This problem occurs when formal and informal legislation are unable to resolve conflict between tribes in Negeri Sembilan. As a result, a special body needs to be established to outline a clear rules and procedure related to the status of customary land. With clear regulation, the status of customary land is more secure and the land can be developed.
So for the conclusion, we know that Negeri Sembilan is one of the states that record the highest problem of idle land, with the majority of the land owned by the customary pepatih community. This occurred due to some issues such as customary land law, ownership of pepatih land, and the location of the land is lack of infrastructure. As the result, the government need to play an important role in developing the idle land through the agriculture and wakaf. This initiative, however, is still insufficient. Therefore, there are some recommendations that the government might use to improve the initiative, which are stipulation of procedure, application of consequence system in the decision-making process, and upgrading the communication and transportation system. In the conclusion, this idle land must be developed so that it can benefit people in the particular area. The government should expand their initiative to assist the people in developing the land, and at the same time it also aid to reduce the poverty in the rural area.